What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we have some awesome Nintendo Switch and RPG news, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. And we're starting off with some old school classics that people have been wanting on the Nintendo Switch and consoles for quite some time, and that is the Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters. We've got an official ESRB rating for the Nintendo Switch and also for the PlayStation 4. So the Entertainment Software Rating Board has rated the Pixel Remaster versions of Final Fantasy 1, Final Fantasy 2, Final Fantasy 3, Final Fantasy 4, Final Fantasy 5, and Final Fantasy 6 for the PlayStation 4 and the Nintendo Switch. Now, the Pixel Remaster versions of the first 6 Final Fantasy games are currently only available on PC, iOS, and Android. Fantastic platforms for games like this, right? Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy 2, Final Fantasy 3 launched on July 28, 2021, followed by Final Fantasy 4 on September 8, 2021, Final Fantasy 5 on November 10th, 2021, and Final Fantasy 6 on February 23rd, 2022. So to see that they wanted to kind of put all of these into that collection and get it going for the PlayStation 4 and the Nintendo Switch is definitely probably going to happen here with the ESRB rating. Now, for those who don't know, the ESRB is the official ratings board. If you want to release your game here in the US on Nintendo Switch, on the PC, on anywhere, on Xbox, you have to go through the ESRB. That's something that you just have to go through, and you have to pay them in order to get that rating. Get your stuff together in terms of what these games consist of and insert those for the ESRB so they can rate your game. And those are all here. So this is not a fluke. This is not some type of troll or anything. When a game gets rated for the Japanese boards or for the Australian boards or for the US ESRB or like the PEGI, for example, it's pretty much going to happen. So this isn't really a rumor or anything. It's going to happen. These games are coming to the Nintendo Switch and they're coming to the PlayStation 4. So this is definitely good because people have been asking for these games for multiple years now. It's been more than a year since the original ones first came out. Obviously, Final Fantasy 1 through 6 are epic, legendary games. A lot of underrated Final Fantasy games, Final Fantasy 3, Final Fantasy 4, and I'm not talking about the American 3 because that's actually 6, but those games are kind of underrated, and now I'm going to get them in these Pixel Remasters that are okay on PC. Some of the fonts and stuff isn't necessarily perfect. I'm a big fan of the HD 2D style instead of just the original ones and just sprucing it up a little bit. But it is what it is. There's no way that they're going to be able to do all of the work for HD 2D for every single Final Fantasy, old school game on the NES and also the Super Nintendo. Although it would have been great to see Final Fantasy 6 in HD 2D. I'm not sure if they're going to do that anymore. You never know at this point. But at least we can look forward to Dragon Quest 3 and also Octopath Traveler 2 as well. But this is good. This is good news. This is a big time RPGs, classic RPGs coming to Nintendo Switch. These are going to be perfect for portable play, which people have been enjoying them on their Steam Deck or on their iOS or Android or whatever the case is. So finally having it on the Switch and PlayStation 4 is going to be really good. But what do you guys think about this when it comes to the Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters? Are you looking forward to picking it up finally? I'm guessing we're going to get a release date in early 2023. I'm guessing we'll get one then, and it should launch all in that collection. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here, we have everyone's favorite game, Mario Strikers Battle League. No, I'm just joking. There's been a lot of complaining and a lot of problems when it comes to it, and rightfully so when it comes to how Nintendo handled Mario Strikers Battle League. But I did want to go over some free content coming to the game in a new update. It pretty much should be out the day that this video is going up, so that's definitely a good thing. So publisher Nintendo and developer Next Level Games will release the third free update for Mario Strikers Battle League on December 13th, which will add Bowser Jr. and Birdo as playable characters, as well as the Shellfish gear and new stadium Urban Rooftop. Now, of course, you have those new characters, new stadium. Mario Strikers Battle League is already out on the Nintendo Switch, and it's always hard to talk about this game because people are really upset in terms of how Nintendo handled the distribution, and I completely understand that. Now, my own personal thing with Mario sports games was that I just played them casually you know, for fun randomly. I was never a huge Mario sports guy. I would just play them randomly with friends. But now in today's day, when you're talking about $60 games, when you're talking about online multiplayer, when you're talking about the legacy that some of these games have, it would be dope if they actually did a bit more with them. Now, the games have never sold incredibly well. I think people do have a little bit of a distorted, I would say, thought process on how well these games actually sell. They're not 5 million, 10 million sellers, and I don't think even if they were complete or whatever the case is, they would be that. However, you still have an obligation with the $60 price tag to make sure that you offer everything a bit more. Fans aren't vibing with this whole, you know, piece by piece type of DLC. Fans don't like that, so it would be better if they got rid of that. Maybe this will be the last generation that they do this, because they didn't do this beforehand. I don't think they did it on the Wii U, although the Mario sports games on the Wii U weren't very good. The ones that we got, there wasn't many, but the ones that we got weren't very good. So I don't think that this is going to survive past the Nintendo Switch. I think this is going to be a thing where it kind of stops. There's a lot of data that shows that people do like the free content coming in waves or whatever, but when there's not enough to begin with, it creates a problem for many fans out there that want to go out there, buy it day one, and enjoy the game and enjoy their favorite Mario characters running around kicking a ball or hitting a tennis ball or whatever the case is, right? So I think that it's understandable from that point of view, and I'm hoping that Nintendo kind of does something different for the next Mario sports game and kind of puts everything that people feels acceptable at the beginning, so you don't get the type of controversy that this game has had for absolutely no reason, even though it's a fun game to play. Heck, I like playing it. It's fun, but the problem is some of the content, some of the stuff surrounding it when it comes down to it. So what do you guys think about Mario Strikers Battle League and this update coming out? Planning on hopping back into it, or are you pretty much finished with this game? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here, we've got a big RPG announcement that I'm really excited about for the Nintendo Switch and the PlayStation 4 and also PC. So publisher Binary Haze Interactive and developer AdGlobe have announced strategy RPG Redemption Reapers for the PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and PC via Steam. It will launch on February 23rd with English and Japanese voiceovers, and also English, Japanese, French, Italian, German, Spanish, Portuguese, Russian, Chinese, simplified and traditional, and Korean language support. Let's freaking go. I love that worldwide support there. Now, here is an overview of this game. It looks incredible. This is the type of game that I think that we should all have on our radar. We know that Fire Emblem Engage is going to be killing it in January, but right there in February, Octopath Traveler 2 and also this game. So let's talk about more about what Redemption Reapers is all about. So Redemption Reapers is being brought to life by industry luminaries, including tactical RPG veteran Misayuki Horikawa from the Fire Emblem series and Kingdom Hearts 3 planning, as well as star-studded voice cast featuring Kyle McCarley from 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, Nier Automata, Allegra Clark from Apex Legends, Dragon Quest Inquisition, David Lodge from Persona 5 and Final Fantasy 15, and Lucen Dodge from Fire Emblem Three Houses and the Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel series. Now, hope fades across the land following the sudden appearance of a ruthless Mort army. Efficient as they are brutal, the Macabre forces descend upon civilizations, leaving destruction in their wake of their nightly raids. As entire nations fall to the Mort onslaught, the Ashen Hawk Brigade, a contingent of mercenaries specializing in surprise tactics, bands together to fight back against the invading legions. Lead the Ashen Hawk Brigade in tactical skirmishes on 3D maps. Employ strategic moves, directing units across the battlefield before issuing commands to attack. Defend or deploy skills during each turn. Overcome seemingly insurmountable odds by mastering sneak attacks for extra damage or powerful combo strikes from multiple brigade members. Ensure each brigade member is fit for the trials ahead by outfitting the party with powerful gear. Turn hard-earned spoils of victory into resources for crafting mighty weapons and armor. Upgrade skills to unlock combat abilities capable of turning a ragtag troop of underdogs into a courageous champions. Carve through the Mort and uncover a gripping, mature story of wartime struggles. Witness powerful moments unfold between members of the brigade during fully voiced cutscenes recorded in English and Japanese audio as fighters learn more about their allies and the world around them. Guide the Ashen Hawk Brigade's rise from obscurity to folk heroes as members grapple with their dark past as a deadly and despised organization dubbed Faithless Reapers. Now, following the success of Ender Lilies, we aim to approach a new genre ideal for sharing our love of dark fantasy stories, said Binary Haze Interactive CEO Hiroyuki Kobayashi in a press release. Redemption Reapers, tactical RPG combat, and emotional storytelling combined for a memorable experience we cannot wait to share with the world in early 2023. So this is exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to the type of games that should be on the Nintendo Switch and are really cool. The graphics look great for what they're doing. It seems like a very dark and enjoyable type of story from what they're showing off here in the trailer. I like what I'm seeing from the gameplay and from the strategy standpoint. It looks awesome. It seems even more like a darker themed Fire Emblem game. Now, Fire Emblem games can get some pretty dark themes, but in terms of like the visual atmosphere and everything, it looks fantastic, and I think that's what they're going with because they have the Fire Emblem series director on board. Like, they have him, he's there, so he knows what to do, and you can clearly see the remnants of that in this gameplay, from the strategy, from how it looks on the field, from what they're doing. This is just what it's about. So very good announcement, very good surprise announcement for RPG fans out there. And this is going to be a game to look out for on the Nintendo Switch, PC, and PlayStation 4. But obviously, if they do really good with the portable mode, this would be a great game, kind of a 1 and 1B or 1 and 1A with Fire Emblem Engage in late January, than this game in February for strategy RPG fans. So what a surprise announcement. This is fantastic. This is exactly what I want to see out of some of these AA style of games that really know like what they're looking for with their audience and what they're doing, and the animations and the tactics look good. This is more of what we needed on the Nintendo Switch. This is exactly what we need. These AA type of games are what I'm into at this point. So very good. So what are your thoughts when it comes to Redemption Reapers and the talent that they have working on this game, especially after the success of a great game like Ender Lilies? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here, guys, we've got some big news on Sonic Frontiers and the future of the franchise, because Sega has officially announced that Sonic Frontiers has sold over 2.5 million copies. That is absolutely incredible, as the game is only a little bit over a month old and over 2.5 million copies have sold. Now, I know that's not as big as, like, let's say Splatoon or God of War Ragnarok or some of these other games, but you have to realize with the Sonic 3D franchise, they haven't had a game this successful, this fast, with this type of concept in a very long time. It's been a long time. Having a big multi-platform release and having it review as one of the best 3D Sonic games in modern history was a big boost to people going out there and playing, and it shows Sega that they can settle down. They've already stated this before, that Sonic Frontiers is going to be the cornerstone of the Sonic franchise for the next decade. Good. Work with what you have. This last game was a 70-something on Metacritic. The next game should shoot for an 80 on Metacritic or higher, because you're building off of what you've already done. And with this revenue coming in, they don't feel the need to have to change something up because it's not working, and we need to try something new because the last game didn't sell, like Sonic Forces, Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric, that flopped. Sonic Lost World didn't do as good as well, but they finally have a good base and foundation to work off of, and these sales validate what they're going to do for the next 10 years, building off of the engine, the Hedgehog engine, and what they did with Sonic Frontiers. So this is good news. This is fantastic news. I bought Sonic Frontiers myself. I enjoy the game. I'm not as big on it as other people are, but I enjoyed it, and I think it's a good primer to really layer on top of it and make something even better with the next outing in the next couple years. So very good stuff. Happy for Sega, happy for the Sonic team. They deserve it. They went through a lot this past decade with all the different failures, and people talk about how bad their games are, and it's good that they finally have a game that is respectable and people can say, yeah, that is a good game that they can work off of. So good stuff all around. So what are your thoughts on Sonic Frontiers breaking the 2.5 million mark so quick? We can see maybe 3 million by the end of the year or so. Let me know in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the final topic here, guys, we've got our first details on Armored Core 6 from Software. Now, this comes from IGN, so shout outs to them, and of course Wario64 with the roundup here. So this is going to be a third-person action game, more focused on single player than previous games. Now, it does retain the mission-based with heavy focus on customized mecha, which if you haven't played the Armored Core franchise, it's been around for a long time. This is FromSoft's baby for a long time, but now was the time, after 10 years, now was the time to bring it back now that From Software is really at the top. They are at the top of the food chain when it comes to the third-party games and everything. So let's talk more about Armored Core here. Now, the boss battles are the highlights in the game, and it will not be a Soulsborne style gameplay. And I have to sit here and say, thank God that it's not going to be that. Like, seriously, I think Souls is cool and all that, but I didn't want to see them adapt some type of Souls style gameplay into this. Now, I wouldn't have minded if it was like a really light element, but let's not make it mecha Souls or anything like that. So I'm very happy that it's going to be more like the traditional Armored Core, but with updates, improvements, probably way better frame rate. Everything's just going to be better with this game and what they're doing. This is a big game from Software and Bandai Namco, so I like what I'm seeing already here. Now, there is going to be a versus/multiplayer mode planned. So all of that equipment or that gear and that stuff, maybe you'll be able to head into battles with people with versus and maybe even co-op missions, and I think that co-op missions could be where this game really shines. Now, of course, head-to-head mecha combat is always great. People have always wanted great, let's say, Gundam Wing games head-to-head, but I think that co-op is where this game could really take off if they have some cool co-op multiplayer missions. Almost like Xenoblade Chronicles had some great co-op multiplayer missions. Almost like how Xenoblade Chronicles X had some great mecha co-op missions. It was just on the Wii U and not as many people played the game, and the single player was always the focus with Xenoblade. But with this game, you can have some really cool customization, really in-depth stuff from the devs here, and they know how to do multiplayer. They've done it quite a bit with all of these Souls games. So I think that this is going to be a fantastic thing for fans of the Armored Core franchise and for new gamers alike. So what are your thoughts on all the different topics here that we discussed? From the Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters, this brand new awesome looking strategy RPG, Mario Strikers, what's going on there, Sonic Frontiers, and of course Armored Core? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and we will see you for the next video. Peace.